No, we did it. Oh, wait, no, you said that. Whatever. It's been a day. Just kiss me.
Kite Man Hell Yeah was such a much needed refresher after the latest dud that was Harley Quinn Season 4, but that's a video for another time. For now, I wish to highlight what I loved most from this season, and that I wish its sister show and even other shows could improve upon. Couple protagonists. No painstakingly obvious, drawn out will they, won't theys. No last minute hookups at the end of the series. No one-sided affection or playing cheerleader to the other partner. Just a couple being a couple during their show together as a couple. And the beauty of how Kite Man and Golden Glider does it, in my opinion, is through deconstructing cis heteronormativity in their relationship. Also, spoilers ahead for Kite Man Hell Yeah. These are just my thoughts and interpretations of the events throughout the show and how it played with masculine and feminine energies. If you had a different reading of the show, please let me know in the comments and subscribe. From what we saw of him in the Harley Quinn series, and even more now in his own spin-off, Kite Man is a fucking loser! And he owns it! He's always been a kind-hearted, well-meaning guy, no matter how much the world mocks and ridicules him. Unless it has to do with his own father or girlfriend, Chuck rarely lets his insecurities surface, and when he does, he's trying to impress the wrong people or stepping out of his comfort zone to be better for a partner that already loves him for who he is. Kite Man has the enthusiasm, charisma, and willpower to pick himself up and others around him. For a guy who just has a kite as his supposed power, his secondary power is his kindness that leads into amazing people skills. And despite being so kind-hearted by nature, he strives to be the best villain, boyfriend, and son he can be on his level, even though he has to settle for his shitty dad. Kite Man is comfortable within his role as Golden Glider's boyfriend as well as co-business owner because he doesn't need to stress over shallow hyper-masculine conformity. He recognizes that his girlfriend is much more powerful than him. Heck, it wouldn't be the first time he dated someone seemingly out of his league. Any other male character in his position would feel threatened by his girlfriend even having a higher wage than him, but not Chuck. He's perfectly content because Chuck, being his lame but kind self, has gotten him a community of fellow underlings that care for each other, plus one heck of a girlfriend, who recognizes how hard he works and encourages him to keep chasing that dream of being an outstanding villain. But once his competence is questioned due to his lack of a superpower, his insecurities drive him to think that the only way to be good enough for Golden Glider is to have a power, luring him to Helen Villigan, DC's Jeff Bezos. But somehow even worse. She manipulates Kite Man to getting a power, but that turns him into a massive gaming dude and gym bro bozo of a douchebag, causing Glider to break up with him because he just became the worst. Ugh. But thankfully she was able to change him back because she saw that the real Kite Man was still in there. Almost to say that deep within every dude bro, there is a decent, kind-hearted man underneath fighting to get to the surface. Unfortunately, they're buried under 2 tons of Axe deodorant, hair gel, and toxic masculinity to mask their true insecurities and feelings. During their time as Beast Mode, he was basically a middle school bully slash fuckboy. The anti-Kite Man, if you will. And though with that power, he finally gained his terrible father's respect, but he lost his friends and the love of his life. Beast Mode showcased a worst case scenario if Kite Man were more willing to bend to others' ideas of what his masculinity should look like to get what he wants. But he always had what he needed by being himself, a community, friends, and Golden Glider.
I gotta stop doing things to impress other people. There's only one person I need to impress. Just my glider.
Not gonna lie, with the start of the first episode and how overly supportive and protective Glider was of Kite Man, I was afraid I was seeing a Vaggie 2.0 here. But luckily, as the season goes on, Lisa proves that she's capable of receiving as gives mutual love and support, as well as standing out as her own character and not just Chuck's +1. She can be short-tempered when it comes to others' bullshit, but that's what makes her take charge attitude and headstrong demeanor a force to be reckoned with. Even though she can't fully control her powers, Glider is as strong as she is graceful on the ice. Lisa is definitely the high-maintenance but practical type, especially when Malice joined the bar and reminded her of all of her own insecurities. And though she was able to better tolerate her, Lisa still holds some resentment over Malice. Doesn't help either when her mother is back in her life. There was some timey-wimey changing of the past BS that saved her mom. Don't worry, I'll go over it later. But after saving Rebecca from the pit, where Lisa is more than happy to have her mother in her life again, while Rebecca, on the other hand...
Fuck.
Finally having her mother back, all Glider wanted to do was spend the day with her in the most stereotypical mother-daughter sitcom activities, but gets extremely jealous when goth girl Malice gets invited as well. I like Gigi, but she's pretty bare bones and kinda basic as far as the other female characters go, and can come off as a tryhard, especially here. But then again, she's fighting for her mother's attention, so I don't blame her. Since Rebecca makes it painfully clear to Glider that she never wanted kids in the harshest way possible, Lisa decides that she's better off without her mother and sends her back to the 1980s through a toilet. Again, I'm gonna explain it later, just hang on. Which doesn't help her mommy issues, I'm afraid. Her low self-esteem increasing when her mother would rather spend the day with Malice than her, on top of the fear of abandonment when her mother first left, Glider kicking her out, and then losing Chuck to beast mode was just too much for Lisa to handle. With how her powers are triggered through stress and high emotions, I'm surprised she was able to keep it together as long as she did. Now this could be interpreted as a commentary on how women are wrongfully judged for being too emotional, which makes them look crazy and unreasonable to others. Expected to hold it together, otherwise you might just end up melting a bitch in cold blood. But when she gets her hands on the anti-life equation, oh my god, DC has the funniest and stupidest names for shit, and is capable of controlling her powers, she's also on edge and not willing to let her guard down. The equation was feeding off her control freak tendencies. Pretty ironic for someone who can't control her power is such a control freak. Oh, that explains a lot. Can't control her power, so she tries to control everything else. Making her feel more powerful than ever, but also corrupting her, as well as making her hallucinate, getting her mother's approval and encouragement to ditch Kite Man in order to rule the world like the boss bitch she became. Now, personally, I see this as toxic femininity, to where a woman has to constantly prove her self-worth, especially to an older woman like her mother, that she loses sight of herself just to crush the glass ceiling, no matter how many shards might fall on those beneath her, even if it means ditching her loved ones, to whom they don't have to prove their worth to because they already adore you. And just like how Golden Glider saved Kite Man from a power that pulled out the worst in his masculinity, Kite Man was able to save Glider from using her dangerous power under misguided influence and desire to appease her mother, which stemmed from her toxic femininity.
You did it, babe! Oh, I love you so much I could eat your face with a spoon right now.
Frankly, it's just nice to see a non-heteronormative couple like Kite Man and Golden Glider. While these conversations usually revolve around LGBTQIA matters, it's also good to remember that rigid gender norms and roles hurt us all, just like how transphobia can also hurt cis people, and that the patriarchy forces some men to conform to it. That's not to downplay what hurts my fellow gays, I'm just saying we could all benefit from being more aware of how these issues show up and wrongfully attack others as well. We're all in this together! High School Musical! Woo! KM and Gigi share what would be considered masculine and feminine traits. Kite Man isn't afraid to show his emotions, Glider enjoys fighting as a form of self-care. You don't get the sense of, oh, look who really wears the pants in this relationship, because they're equals that perfectly balance each other out. And they're still flawed individuals that are capable of having disagreements, but can make up and meet a compromise in the end. Like in episode 2, when they were looking to hire at the bar, Kite Man wanted to get someone cool to make the place seem more inviting, while Golden Glider was thinking more practical due to the $10 million hole they were in and wanted to hire someone cheap or free, or Bane. So when someone as jaw-dropping as Malice walks in seeking employment, Kite Man jumps at the chance to hire her, but Glider isn't as eager because of Malice's nasty attitude and feeling threatened by her standing out at the bar, which makes Gigi feel lesser about herself. There's those self-esteem issues, which pair lovely with her mommy issues. Where Lisa is jealous of Malice for being the embodiment of all of her insecurities, the same could be said about Chuck and his father, trying so hard to fit into the box by those that just tear them down, when in reality they just have to please each other by being themselves. Kite Man helps Glider see that she's amazing on her own, and she does the same regarding Chuck's daddy issues. Seeing Malice getting chewed out by Goddaddy Darkseid, Glider sticks up for her, showing how much of a better person she truly is. Malice got to stay as a server as well as their social media advisor, and Bane works as the bouncer. A well done compromise if I've ever seen one. Also, his daddy issues matches her mommy issues. That's so cute. cute. They're trauma bonded. In episode 3, Kite Man gets the wrong idea about Glider's relationship checklist spreadsheet and starts to doubt that she wants anything to do with him, since by this point in their relationship, they should be moved in together, at least according to Lisa's spreadsheet. So in an effort to show he is good enough for her, Kite Man tries putting the squeeze on the massive chain restaurant and bar that opened across from Noonan's, Villigan's. But it turns out Glider made that spreadsheet long before meeting Kite Man and actually wants to move in together, but she's afraid of accidentally killing him with her uncontrollable powers that are triggered when she's super emotional or stressed. You know, that's a valid point and reasonable excuse to avoid living with anyone for that matter. The girls' spa day gets interrupted when their masseuses attack them, and it turns out that they were working for Villigan's. Wow, a chain restaurant and a spa? Villigan's owns it all. We should really invest in property management. That's the truest evil. Baby Doll, the manager, reveals that she blew up Kite Man with the bomb that was hiding in their gift basket, causing Glider to, reasonably, freak out. But unbeknownst to her, Kite Man was able to throw the bomb at Villigan's at the last second. But that didn't stop Baby Doll from pushing his buttons and telling him that Golden Glider was dead, causing Chuck to have a freak out of his own and beating the absolute shit out of Baby Doll. Get someone to match your freak like them. The couple reunite with such passion and relief to see the other alive. They talk about what was holding them back and decide to move in together. It was beautiful. They're such a pair of cornballs, but their cornball love is all the more sweet. And beating up Baby Doll might do wonders for Kite Man's street cred, even though she pretended that he was her father, so out of context, it kind of looks... Ooh, yikes.
You guys don't think this makes me look like a jerk?
Well, yeah, but who cares?
When they move in together during episode 4, Kite Man wishes to learn more about Glider, but she's very protective of her past and would rather look forward to the future. Funny how this episode's theme of the past affecting who we are in the future, because while helping them move, Bane accidentally gets teleported to the 80s by a toilet. See, I told you I'd explain it. In an effort to better understand why Lisa has these walls up, Chuck seeks answers from her brother, Captain Cold? Hey, isn't he a Flash villain? Oh, that's so cool. I had no idea these two were actually related. Oh, I love modern day comic book reinterpretations of old characters and even obscure ones that gives the modern day audience something to learn and grasp onto. I hope comic book fans aren't as toxic as they say they are. Nope, can't even say it with a straight face. Once Kite Man learns that Glider is the reason why Cold and her are orphans, he uses the portal potty to set things right in the past to save Lisa's parents and their relationship's future. Glider was just a child when she first used her powers by accidentally vaporizing both of her parents at the very bar she co-owns and lives above. While Kite Man had the best intentions and wanted to learn more than just the basics about Glider, he did go against her wishes to leave the subject of her family alone because of the painful memories of her past. Buying Noonan's, Lisa thought she could make new happy memories than live with the dread of the past. Open and honest communication was key this episode. While I don't condone Chuck snooping behind Glider's back, he had good intentions while doing so. Lisa had every right to keep her privacy regarding her family and wanting to look forward to the present with Kite Man, but eventually the truth had to come out sooner or later. Otherwise, it would have put a massive strain on their relationship as they're trying to get to know each other better. I'm not saying either of them were in the wrong. They did what was right by each other, for each other, and to better their relationship moving forward. Kite Man wanting to heal her past so they could have a future together, and Golden Glider wanting to leave the past behind to focus on the present with him. In the end, they were both thinking of what was best for their relationship, but going about it in their own ways is what caused the conflict. Chuck wears his heart on his sleeve and is willing to share everything with the one he loves, as well as help them through the rough times, because he deeply loves her. And while Lisa was closed off due to the pain of her past, it wouldn't have been healthy for their relationship moving forward to always be this way. In the end, though Kite Man wasn't able to stop young Lisa's powers from setting off, thanks to Bane, at least her mom was spared. Yeah, but she ends up abandoning her children anyway. Kind of a net loss there. And since I've already covered Lisa's mommy issues, let's move on. There's also just the little things that showcase how much of a sweet and healthy couple they are. Whether they're role-playing in the stockroom, fake proposing to ask to run a bar together and move in, or on a high-speed heist to rob a truck filled with furniture for their new place, which is the most villain couple thing ever. So precious. I wish we had more villain couples doing shit like this. It's so funny. Their mutual respect, support, and love for each other is what makes the foundation of of their relationship beautiful. Now, that doesn't mean to say they are a perfect couple, despite the amount of times you've actually said it. Yeah, I'm a hypocrite. All YouTubers are. They still have their disagreements, but are capable of working together through them, because no amount of ego can outweigh the amount of love they have for each other. Having a disagreement and even arguments from time to time in relationships are normal and not at all toxic or signs of a breakup. They have their flaws, insecurities, parental issues, and all, but they're capable of uplifting each other despite it all. Kite Man and Golden Glider are already enough for each other. They just let others people's opinions worry them over nothing. Goes to show to never take relationship advice from single people.
I thought you were dead! Jinx! Double jinx!
Now, at the time of recording and writing this, 9 out of the 10 episodes of Kite Man Hell Yeah are on Max. But no matter how it ends, Kite Man and Golden Glider are still the perfect pair. But I'll leave that up to you guys. Have you been keeping up with the show? Interested to hear me talk about it some more? You know what to do. Comment, like, subscribe, share, all that jazz. And thank you.